as the days go by, it's not looking the best. It's not looking good. They decided to add armored walls in competitive. That's right. An armored wall that has 2,500 health. You can find them in stacks of 2. There's so many things wrong with an armored wall in competitive. Competitive, this chapter hasn't been the best. Competitive, this chapter has actually been the worst we've ever seen it. It's like they don't care about competitive anymore, which is kind of sad. Like I've always said, without pubs, the game is dead. Without competitive, the game is dead. They need to balance both and have both parties good and hope that everyone is enjoying either pubs or competitive. Obviously, like there's gonna be a lot of negative stuff, but they've also done some good changes. They nerfed the MK damage by 1. I mean, at least it's something. They also nerfed the MK damage to builds by like a good amount, like 3 or 4 damage, which is actually good. But they could have just reduced the fire rate because the time to kill with that gun is just crazy. It's like 0.2 seconds. They nerfed the Stinger SMG by 2. We're gonna get into the Stinger a little bit later, talk about that more. And the auto shotgun reload time has been reduced, so it's faster to reload, which is also good, but the damage on that gun is still very, very bad. I mean, they've had some good elements of mythics, the web shooter. I just think that 80 uses is just too much. 80 web slings is way too much, at least from a competitive standpoint. The map is good, it's fresh. I mean, you would hope the map is good on a new chapter. So, the Stinger SMG, we can all agree that this is the most busted weapon we've ever had in this game. Like, I understand in pubs, a lot of people, a lot of new players, a lot of the old big streamers are coming back, and they're enjoying it. You know, good for them, they're enjoying it. But if you look at it competitive-wise, it's very bad. It's not good. Like, it's like night and day. From pubs, yes, the old players are enjoying it, but for competitive, it feels like you can't counter that gun in any way. You can't really counter someone just SMGing into your box, spraying your wooden builds. The fire rate is atrocious. It goes through like double layers, like a wall and ramp. That's what I think personally. Obviously, like we can all live with it, yes, but like if you want the game to strive, yes, pub-wise you're doing great. And also I think the reason they haven't nerfed the SMG is because they've seen so much good responsive in pubs that why should they nerf it if they're getting good responses but they're not looking at the competitive side. Like in any other season or chapter, the SMG would have been nerfed in 2-3 days. Now, competitive and pubs, like, why can't they just have a different loot pool? Different loot pool in pubs and a different one in competitive. In pubs, have the SMG broken as ever if people are enjoying it. In competitive, you could see 99.9% of the players don't like the SMG fire rate. So when you switch it to arena and tournament playlists like cash cups and stuff, just change the SMG. Like, it's not impossible. We've seen this in the past. They changed the campfires. Campfires in pubs, I'm pretty sure, are like 200 to light them up. In competitive, it's 500 mats, I think. It's 500 of your wood to ignite fire. I'm not 100% sure on this, but like I'm pretty sure the numbers are close. And I also feel like if they had different loot pool in pubs and competitive, not extremely different. I'm not saying to add back a junk rift in pubs. And I'm also not saying to add back a gold spaz in competitive. Like, it would make things so much easier. Pub players would be happy and competitive players would be happy. I feel like some seasons they care too much about pubs, so competitive has to deal with the pub changes. Some seasons they care, I do agree, they care too much about competitive. So then pubs are like having like a very stale game with like no fun in it. Now, the armored wall in comp today, like this is no accident. Like you can't add an item like this by accident. A wall with 2,500 health. I don't know what to say. They see the competitive community talk about how the fire rate on the SMG is busted. Now, instead of changing the fire rate in arena and tournaments of the SMG, they decide to add a wall with 2,500 health to stop the spraying. Now there's so many things wrong with this. Let me tell you, it drops in stacks of 2. You find 2 floor spawns with armored walls, you have 4. You have an entire box. You can build an entire box. Think about that. With armored walls, with 2,500 health. This also causes griefing. A kid could just stroll in a tournament, in a competitive tournament, could just stroll around, place armored walls around their box, grief your game, grief their own game because they probably don't care about competitive. And if it was on accident, they would have put out a tweet. Usually they put out a tweet saying, like, this item will be removed from competitive. Thanks for your understanding. Something like that. They always tweet out. But it's been a good few hours since it's been added into arena and comp, and we haven't seen any. I just hope that armored walls are removed. That's my main thing right now, and I hope that they care a little more about competitive.